The WTA was left speechless as Nike dropped a stunning new kit for Alex Eala, and the blue Cincinnati design has the tennis world absolutely buzzing. Kapag Lumago, hindi na hihinto, a Tagalog phrase meaning once it grows, it cannot be stopped, is now stitched into her gear, carrying the full weight of a movement that's taken over the sport. The Filipina sensation has been a Nike ambassador since age 14, but her historic summer run has elevated the partnership to new heights. As she prepares for the Cincinnati Open, the Swoosh has honored her journey with a custom kit that blends sportswear tradition with Filipino identity. Is Alex Eala about to become Nike's biggest star since Serena Williams? The images surfaced online just days before the Cincinnati Open, and within hours, the tennis world was buzzing. Alex Eala's new Nike kit for the US Open swing featured a stunning blue design, a sharp departure from the green she wore during her historic Washington title run and the pink she debuted in Toronto. The predominantly blue tennis dress with white and black accents and a distinctive mesh-style pattern on the sides and back immediately caught attention online, with tennis outlet The Tennis Letter posting, "Alex Eala's kit for the 2026 US Open. Love it." But this wasn't just about fashion, it was about the power of the swoosh and the story behind the kit. The blue dress comes just weeks after a curious comment from House-led prosecutor Rep. Gervil Luistro during an online press conference. "Bakit si Alex Eala laging naka-green? Dapat mag-blue naman siya," Luistro joked, asking why Eala always wore green. The Filipina had worn green throughout her Washington campaign, where she defeated Olympic gold medalist Jung Chinwen, defending champion Leylah Fernandez, World No. 10 Elina Svitolina, 4-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka, and world number 3 Jessica Pegula. She then arrived in Toronto wearing pink, fueling attention on her tournament outfits. The switch to blue is a natural progression for a player who has been with Nike since she was just 14 years old. Signed in 2019, Eala has worn the swoosh through every stage of her remarkable journey, from junior Grand Slam champion to the first Filipino player to break into the WTA top 20. Her partnership with the sportswear giant has evolved from sponsorship to a genuine partnership built on cultural authenticity. It was Nike that gifted her a custom sampaguita hair tie for her Wimbledon debut in 2025, the Philippine national flower representing purity, resilience, and national pride. It was Nike that embroidered the Tagalog phrase Kapag Lumago, hindi na hihinto on her Wimbledon visor in 2026, a message that translates to once it grows, it cannot be stopped. And it was Nike that featured her portraits at their world headquarters in Oregon, honoring her as a global ambassador alongside other Nike icons. The blue kit carries the weight of that legacy. This isn't just a uniform. It's a symbol of a partnership that has honored Eala's Filipino heritage at every turn. The sampaguita, the Tagalog message, the portraits, and now the blue design, all of it reflects a brand that has invested in Eala not just as a player, but as a cultural phenomenon. According to a representative, Eala has become the Philippines' highest-earning netter of all time in 2026, bagging a total of $54 million in prize money on top of several endorsements. What would you do if the most powerful sports brand in the world had been betting on you since you were 14? For Alex Eala, the answer is simple. She would wear that kit with pride. She would carry her culture with her on every court, and she would keep proving that once it grows, it cannot be stopped. The blue Cincinnati kit is not just a look, it's a statement. And the WTA is left speechless once again. The blue Cincinnati kit might be the latest headline, but the story of Alex Eala and Nike began long before the world knew her name. It started in 2019, when a 14-year-old from Quezon City signed her first endorsement deal with the Swoosh. At the time, Eala was a promising junior with a world ranking of No. 2 in the juniors and 2 Grand Slam titles already under her belt. She had won the 2020 Australian Open Girls Doubles and the 2021 French Open Girls Doubles. She had moved to Spain at age 13 to train at the Rafa Nadal Academy. She was still years away from her first WTA main draw appearance, which would come in August 2021. But Nike saw something special: the potential of a player who would one day become the first Filipino to break into the WTA top 100. The first to reach a WTA semifinal, and eventually, the highest-ranked Filipino tennis player in history. The partnership grew quietly over the years. Eala wore the swoosh as she climbed through the junior ranks as she made her WTA debut, as she became the first Filipina to break into the top 100. Nike featured her on its official app in a feature titled "The Filipino Tennis Player," smashing every challenge on and off the court, chronicling her early career from the age of 4 to her move to Spain. The brand recognized not just her talent, but her resilience, the ability to take one step back to move 2 steps forward. But the real turning point came at the 2025 Miami Open. Eala, then ranked no. 140, received a wild card into the main draw. What followed was a Cinderella run that stunned the tennis world. She defeated 3 Grand Slam champions, Jelena Ostapenko, Madison Keys, and world no. She became the first Filipino to defeat multiple top 5 players and the first Filipina to reach a WTA 1000 semifinal. The tennis world took notice, and so did Nike. The brand's response was immediate and personal. When Eala made her Wimbledon debut in June 2025, Nike honored her with a custom-made Sampa Seguida hair tie adorned with the national flower of the Philippines. Alongside it was a handwritten note that read, "Every dream begins as a seed. Kung may tinanim, may anihin. And what you plant, you'll one day reap." A Filipina on the grass courts of history, not just playing for herself, but carrying a nation in full bloom. The gesture was hailed by marketing experts as a powerful example of authentic brand storytelling, a moment that transcended mere sponsorship and became a cultural statement. Eala's response was equally heartfelt. The flower of my country, a reminder of where I come from, and everything that brought me here, she wrote on Instagram. The post drew over 125,000 likes and more than 1,700 comments. Nike Philippines followed up with a limited edition Full in Bloom t-shirt designed by Filipino artist Georgina Camus, featuring the Sampaguita against the backdrop of Wimbledon's iconic grass courts. The partnership only deepened from there. In February 2026, Eala visited the Nike World Headquarters in Oregon, where her portraits were displayed along the legendary tunnel alongside other Nike global ambassadors across all sports. The photos of her posing with her own images, her hand raised in a peace sign, had gone viral. "History in full bloom," one of the portraits read. In July 2026, Nike continued the tradition with another custom gift. During Eala's second Wimbledon appearance, she wore a personalized visor embroidered with the Tagalog message, "Kapag Lumago, hindi na hihinto." Once it grows, it cannot be stopped. The phrase perfectly captured her journey, a steady rise from promising junior to global phenomenon. What would you do if the most powerful sports brand in the world had been betting on you since you were 14? For Alex Eala, the answer was simple. She would wear the swoosh with pride. She would carry her culture with her on every court. And she would keep proving that the girl with ruffled socks and light-up shoes was destined for greatness. Because when Nike invests in you at 14, watches you transform into a global phenomenon, and honors your heritage at every turn, you know you've earned the right to wear that blue kit with pride. The sampaguita isn't just a flower to Alex Eala. It's a symbol of everything she carries onto the court. And Nike has woven that symbol into every step of her journey. The tradition began with a simple gesture that became one of the most powerful marketing moments in tennis. Ahead of Eala's Wimbledon debut in June 2025, Nike gifted her a custom-made hair tie adorned with a single sampaguita bloom, the national flower of the Philippines. Alongside it was a handwritten note that read, "Every dream begins as a seed. Kung may tinanim, may anihin. And what you plant, you'll one day reap." A Filipina on the grass courts of history. Not just playing for herself, but carrying a nation in full bloom. Eala's reaction was pure, unfiltered gratitude. The sampaguita, the flower of my country. A reminder of where I come from, and everything that brought me here, she wrote on Instagram. The post drew over 125,000 likes and more than 1,700 comments, with fans rallying behind her not just as an athlete, but as a symbol of national pride. But Nike didn't stop there. Later that year, Nike Philippines released a limited edition, full-in-bloom t-shirt designed by Filipino artist Georgina Camus, featuring the sampaguita against the backdrop of Wimbledon's iconic grass courts. The shirt celebrated Eala's tournament debut while cementing the national flower as a recurring emblem of her journey. The collection also included a custom tote bag, a classic cap, and a mantra shirt featuring the Tagalog quote, "Kapag Lumago, hindi na hihinto," available exclusively at Nike The Fort. A year later, the tradition continued. During Wimbledon 2026, Eala wore a personalized white visor from Nike embroidered with the Tagalog message, "Kapag Lumago, hindi na hihinto." Once it grows, it cannot be stopped. The phrase became more than just a motto. It became a prophecy. For Eala, the cultural tributes carry deep meaning. "It's so sentimental to be able to wear things or carry parts of my culture with me on court," she told the media during Wimbledon. "It's a huge reason as to who I am. I think where I come from is a big part of who I am and a big part of who I want to become in the future." The sampaguita has since become Eala's signature symbol, a reminder of resilience, honor, and the nation she represents. Nike's investment in her cultural identity has set a new standard for athlete-brand partnerships, proving that honoring an athlete's roots can be as powerful as endorsing their performance. What would you do if the most powerful sports brand in the world honored your culture on the biggest stage? For Alex Eala, the answer was simple. She would wear that symbol with pride. She would carry her nation with her on every court. And she would keep proving that the bloom had just begun. She's already wearing Nike on her sleeve. She's carrying Babolat in her hand. And now the world's biggest brands are lining up to put their names next to Alex Eala's. The numbers are staggering. And the race to sign her is only just beginning. In 2026, Eala emerged as the Philippines' highest-earning netter of all time, bagging a total of $54 million in prize money on top of several endorsements. Her growing list of sponsorship deals, Nike, Babolat, NutriAsia, Globe, and Bank of the Philippine Islands, has propelled her to a new level of commercial success. According to Forbes, her endorsements are projected to exceed $1 million in 2026 and are expected to grow to around $3 million this year. The commercial phenomenon, however, is just beginning. After Eala's historic DC Open title run and her electrifying Toronto campaign, Tennis Canada's Senior Director of Ticket Sales and Services, Jason McGlante, noted that 8 out of every 10 fans in the stadium could be of Filipino heritage. Tournament Director Carl Hale also noted the unprecedented demand for her, with tickets selling out within 30 minutes of going on sale. The tournament's food offering was also adjusted to cater to the Filipino crowd, a first in tournament history. For global brands, Eala's commercial value is measured in more than just dollar signs. The Filipino diaspora has proven to be a powerful market. When Eala plays, the world stops. More than 8,000 people packed a Manila arena to watch her Wimbledon fourth-round match. Nearly 1.2 million fans viewed her matches on YouTube. Her endorsement portfolio has become a testament to the Eala mania phenomenon. The comparison to Lina is already being made. The Chinese tennis icon earned $24 million in endorsements in 2014 alone after winning the Australian Open. Eala is following a similar trajectory, a player who has broken barriers for her country and become a symbol of pride for millions. Jean-Christophe Verbourg, Babolat's global sports marketing director, described her appeal simply. I would say it's the energy she has, the smile. Every single tournament she's playing, it's crazy how many people around are watching her. But for Eala, the commercial success has never been the point. She wears the sampaguita on her hair and the Tagalog phrase on her visor, not as a marketing gimmick, but as a reminder of where she comes from. When brands like Nike honor her culture, they're not just investing in a player, they're investing in a movement. And that's exactly why sponsors are racing to sign her. The blue kit is packed, the sampaguita is tucked away. And as Alex Eala prepares for the Cincinnati Open, she carries more than just a tennis racket. She carries the hopes of a nation that has turned her into a global phenomenon. The Cincinnati Open is a WTA 1000 event with a $7.43 million prize pool and a 96-player draw, featuring virtually all of the world's best players. Eala, currently ranked No. 17 after her Toronto run, will be seeded and receive a first-round bye. A significant advantage for a player who has played 11 matches in 14 days across 3 tournaments. The field is packed with talent. Aryna Sabalenka, Elena Rybakina, Jessica Pegula, Coco Gauff, and Iga Swiatek are all expected to compete. The tournament runs from August 13 to 23 at the Lindner Family Tennis Center in Mason, Ohio. For Eala, it's the final major warm-up before the U.S. Open, where she will look to build on her breakthrough 2025 performance, where she became the first Filipino player to win a Grand Slam main draw match in the Open era. But the Cincinnati Open is about more than just tennis. It's about momentum. It's about carrying the lessons from Toronto, the exhaustion, the ankle scare, the loss to Bensic, and turning them into fuel for the next chapter. It's always tough, of course, after a loss, Eala said after her Toronto exit. But like I said, I'm looking back at these past 2 weeks as a really big positive. I think I've played really well. I've gotten through so many obstacles. The Eala mania phenomenon is global now. And Cincinnati, a city with a growing Filipino community, is already bracing for the crowds. Nike's blue kit is more than just a fashion statement. It's a symbol of the partnership that has honored Eala's heritage at every turn. The sampaguita, the Tagalog phrase on her visor, the portraits at Nike World headquarters, all of it reflects a brand that has invested in Eala not just as a player, but as a cultural movement. When Alex Eala steps onto the court in Cincinnati, she won't be alone. She'll be carrying the weight of a nation and the love of a community that has turned her into a champion. What would you do if the whole world was watching? For Alex Eala, the answer is simple. She will wear the blue with pride. She will fight for every point. And she will keep proving that once it grows, it cannot be stopped. Because the next chapter is just beginning, and it promises to be the greatest one yet.